On March 12th, Mountaintop Studios would drop an absolute bombshell. Spectre Divide would be shutting down, just 2 weeks after the launch of the game on console. For many, this would come as a shock and be a huge bummer. However, at this point, I hadn't played any Spectre Divide on console. I'd played it a bit to try it when it came out on PC during its initial launch, and I did try a couple games in the new season, but with this news, I decided that I would try and 100% Spectre Divide before it shuts down. However, that was our first issue. This would be a race against the clock, as Mountaintop didn't give an exact date that the servers would go offline, just a vague message that it would happen within the next 30 days. So sometime between March 12th and April 11th, Spectre Divide would be no more. But it's not just that. With the announcement of the game shutting down and its impending doom, well, the player base was only getting smaller, and I had a full list of achievements that I needed to get through as quick as possible. Now, lucky for us, the achievement list for Spectre Divide isn't too bad. Most of the achievements are something that you would normally just naturally accomplish if you played long enough, except for a select few, and oh man was I unaware of how much of a headache those would cause. So let's get started with the easy ones. The first two achievements I'd pop would be Check My Fit, which is just for equipping a skin in the locker room, and Puck Thrower, which is for throwing your puck and moving your Spectre body. Oh yeah, Spectre Divide. Maybe I should give a brief idea of what this is if you didn't play it. It's basically a tactical shooter with abilities and the unique mechanic to be able to swap between two bodies, hence the above achievement. I do have to laugh though, because for it being the main mechanic for the game, the achievement rate is only 65%, which means that 35% of people either never used it or just didn't even bother to launch into a match. Kind of funny. I actually even forgot to save clips for the first two achievements when they popped, but hey, going forward, it was going to get slightly less basic. Next would be to get a kill with each of your bodies in a round, which is a pretty easy and natural achievement, and after that we would need to kill a player who killed one of our bodies. Basically getting a little bit of that sweet revenge. Again, something you would just accomplish naturally. After this would come an achievement that requires you to kill both bodies of a player within 5 seconds. I also got the achievement, yeah. He was literally AFK.
Oh my god.
Those 5 achievements I'd all unlock within the first 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay. However, the next one would take a little bit longer. For this one, you would need to drop 15 kills in a match, which for a skilled FPS gamer like me, should be a breeze. Let's go! Achievement! I'm kidding about the skilled FPS part, don't kill me. That achievement only took an hour though, and you know what, for a dead game, we were popping our Qs extremely quickly, though we were just playing casual matches at this point. After this, we would play our third game, which upon completion would pop 2 more achievements. One for completing a team quest, which is just a shared challenge, and one for being recruited into a crew, the system that would cause me much despair. Achievement, let's go! Complete a team quest. Oh, it's a team quest. Oh, I got 2 achievements! I'm gonna be done in no time, brother. That first night of gameplay, I'd also pop a couple more achievements just for good measure. Zeus Neutralized, which was for defusing a bomb, which I swear we weren't just letting our enemies plant for the achievement, we would never. And then 3 Company for winning a match composed of 3 crew members. This achievement is actually way harder than you would think, boasting a solid 0.7% completion rate. And why is that, you ask? Well, it's the crew system. It's really stupid and broken. So remember how I said after 3 games you get put into a crew? Yeah, well, it just randomly throws you into one. And as far as I can tell, and don't get me wrong, I tried, the feature to join your friend's crew is broken. So once you get randomly assigned to your crew, you're stuck in that crew for the entire week until the reset, where if you leave it unlocked, you can get randomly generated into a new crew. Now, I was very lucky and got thrown into the same crew as my buddy, who was joining me to get all these achievements, so we only needed to find one other gamer in our crew, which surprisingly we did by literally spam inviting every single person in our crew to a game. And to our surprise, someone actually joined. Shout out X59. I never spoke to you, but you, sir, are a legend. If you end up in a dead crew though, this is one of the achievements that can stop you dead in your tracks. As like I mentioned, you don't get moved around from crew to crew except on weekly resets. Don't worry though, this isn't the only time the crew system would try and stop me. For now though, that would be our first night of achievement hunting. The next night though, I'd become a bot. So this achievement again is fairly natural, but does require you to at least play with it in mind, and this is to get a kill with each of your bodies within 5 seconds, which actually is a pretty short amount of time. You basically need to get a kill, have your other body close, swap to it, and then get another kill. Something that you can set up pretty decently if you're holding a sight, but I failed the timer many times, or I would just whiff under the pressure of the second kill.
He's there.
I got one, hold on, where's the second guy? No! Oh, did I get it? Did I get? Yes! Let's go, baby!
Let me heal you.
I think you, like, body blocking helped get it. The next achievement would be one that should be mega easy, but it's actually bugged and requires a workaround, but at least it's easy to do. This is Howdy Partner, which is for just winning a match with a friend, which, like I mentioned, I've been playing with my friend the whole time, but the achievement wasn't popping. For whatever reason, to get this to pop, I actually had to unadd my buddy on Xbox and then only add him in Spectre Divide. Once we did that and we were able to win another game, then the achievement popped. The next achievement I'd pop that same night would be for winning my first ranked match, which would first require you to win 5 casual matches to unlock rank, and then pray that you could find a ranked match. Now surprisingly, the queue times weren't bad. We generally throughout this whole time were able to find ranked matches in under 5 minutes, which for a game that's literally shutting down doesn't seem too bad. I was a little afraid this could be a completion killer because I've played many dead games before where the ranked playlists are completely useless. We absolutely stomped our ranked game too, and basically their whole team quit and then the last dude surrendered. That would do it for night 2 of getting some achievements. Now night 3 is where the achievements were no longer easy. At this point basically everything left was going to be a grind, and the first of these was to get an ace, which is for killing all 6 bodies on the enemy team. With enough time playing, I imagine this would happen naturally, but remember, we're racing against the shutdown here. So at first I just tried getting one normally, popping off a bit, pushing, and just killing the whole team, but I kept getting my ace broken by our teammates happening to get a kill. Now this whole time, basically every achievement I did here was with my buddy Spectre, and he had already gotten an ace at this point, so what we ended up doing was inviting another buddy of mine, Zion, and they basically just let me run wild. I would push aggressively, and if I got the opening kill in a round, they would both just sit back and let me cook until I failed. And after failing many times...
Splinter away!
Damn it.
Crash. I got him. Alright, another one I made, another one was flank. He's flank.
This one flank too? I killed one flank.
Come on, man.
Wait, let me heal you. Let me go down the open heal you.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! And it popped! Oh!
Let's go!
Oh, that was a horrible experience.
Damn.
This would be the only achievement I'd end up getting that night, and on the next night we would begin the grind for the last 3 achievements. Technically, the last 2 were the hard ones, but the third one did take some time. This would be working for the fans, moving up, and first star. Working for the fans is pretty basic. It's just for doing all the daily and weekly challenges, which there are a variety that you can get. For me, it was like playing 150 rounds in a week, and then I think my daily when it popped was for getting 9,000 damage. Hey!
Wow,
I got the
let's
achievement,
fucking
baby.
go.
Let's go. All right, 2 more achievements left, and then we're done, dude. Now for the final 2, the real completion killers. If you've been on the Spectre Divide subreddit, which I don't know why you would be, these are the ones that everyone's complaining that they can't get. And unlike everything else on here, these babies are a grind and would take multiple very long nights. I'm talking probably the most I've grinded a multiplayer game in a long time. Which is kind of funny because toward the end, I kind of feel like I was getting good. But it's probably the ridiculous amount of time I put in within the week we were playing. So moving up is for being part of a crew that gets promoted and sits at a 0.19% completion rate. And first star is for being recognized as a crew star sitting at 0.84%. Now here's the thing. The crew system is buggy and somewhat broken, but it also suffers the most from the game just dying. Remember how I said the crew that you're put in is random? Well, here that actually makes a huge difference. If your crew is active, then getting the moving up achievement is actually pretty easy, but on the flip side, it's going to make first star harder. So to get promoted as a crew, your crew needs to place in the top 4 of points, which is the combined total of all the players in the crew. Being a crew star is a little bit less clear, and their website claims there's a few ways to do it, but to be safe, you want to be the highest scoring crew member in your crew for the week. So you need to play more than the other 50 plus members to have a chance. Now this alone could be hard, but it's not just a pure grind. It's also dumb. Here's how you can gain points. You get 8 points for every time you play a match, 3 points if you win the match, another 2 points if the match is a ranked match, another 2 points if you play with someone in your crew, and another 2 points if both your teammates are in your crew. Then there's the crew spotlight, which is just some BS RNG that also gives 2 points, and then you get an additional 2 points if you 3 stack, and then 2 more RNG ones. 1 point for a home turf match, which is for playing on your crew's randomly determined home map, and then there's another one for Sentai Live Broadcast, and I don't know what this one is, but it gives you 1 point and sometimes you randomly get it. So the most points that you can get if you win a ranked match as a 3-stack crew with some RNG luck is 23 points per game. Now your weekly points are determined by your 5 best games. I know this is getting confusing, we're almost done. But there's also a bunch of wildcard spots that you can fill, which I think was their way of letting more active players carry less active ones. But yeah, the system is ass. It might be cool if you had an active crew with a bunch of your buddies, kind of reminds me of like Clash of Clans back in the day, but relying on literal randoms for promotion or to become a crew star kinda sucks. So here was the case of our crew, the Disciplined family. You know me, full of discipline. For the most part, it was completely dead, outside of this dude at the top who looked like he 3-stacked with himself or something. I hope you slept poorly, VidGamiac. So as you can see, Mr. VidGamiac would have 289 points on 3 accounts. And by the time we started playing, he'd already had those. To become a crew star though, we would need to pass him, but to get the crew promoted, well, that was going to be very hard without an active crew. So over the next 2 nights, me and Semper would grind, and I'm talking 5+ hour sessions until like 2 or 3 in the morning each night, where we would call upon any and all players that we could find that would play with us to get extra points. We spammed crew members to play, and when that wouldn't work, we hit up the LFG in hopes of finding a 3rd player who wanted to join us. For the most part, no crew members ever joined us, except for the legend Trust No One MK, who randomly joined us one night when we spam invited the whole crew. Apparently he was just playing PUBG and just decided to accept it, not having any clue who we were. So that's a real legend. Guess we're reviving Spectre Divide 1 crew member at a time. During our sessions, many things would happen. We met a dude playing from France on ridiculous ping. I placed into gold, though my friend Semper got plat. What the heck, I'm clearly him. And I even got jump scared.
Oh, he's so low. He's coming around the corner. Oh,
Why was he just staring at me? At times though, we weren't able to find a 3rd at all and would instead just queue as 2, which meant our cap of points was even lower. And during this, we would meet some absolute specimens when we were queuing. I am not convinced that this was a real human. The dude literally dropped 0 kills and a grand total of 33 damage all game long. I was hoping, me. Where is Litigator? Bruh.
You think the names were AI generated?
Oh, he's just... What is he doing? He's on the other side of the map, just walking around with an op. He's running into the walls. Like he can't control his character. He's staring at the floor.
Like he's playing a fucking RPG.
He just used his op to pop the shield.
I might play when I'm trying to troll and lose the game intentionally. But I don't think he's doing that.
Bro, I can't. So Monday night, or I guess Tuesday morning, after our ridiculous grind, me and Semper finally passed our hated rival, VidGamiac, who maybe I should actually kind of be friends with, since besides Trust, he was one of the few crew members on our crew who was even playing. But this put us about 60 points ahead of VidGamiac, who I'd love to see the reaction from once he realizes we passed him about 2 or 3 hours before the reset. However, our crew as a whole was still about 350 points from top 4, sitting at 12th place, and I really feel like it wasn't from a lack of us trying. I mean, at the end, me, Semper, and Trust were absolutely running the ranked ladder, dominating all in our way. Even despite this though, we were running out of time before that reset, and let's be honest, who knows if we were going to get another week. Not only could the game shut down, matches themselves could just become too hard to find. This is where a legend would pop into chat. So there's a bit of an exploit, and this actually works on Xbox or PlayStation. For whatever reason, if you can find someone who was in one of the 4 crews who was promoted in the previous week, you can then add them as a friend. Once you do this, if you go and view their crew, sometimes the moving up achievement would just pop. It can be pretty finicky, but it is replicatable, and thanks to Prof Hunt and Gale UNSC 17. Oh, I got it. This would pop the moving up achievement, but I still had to pray the 1st star achievement would pop upon reset, and the next morning when I turned on my Xbox, 100% in Spectre Divide complete, and we beat the shutdown of the game. According to True Achievements, I was the 34th person to accomplish this, so not the first by any means, but hey, not too bad. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like we had some insane luck to finish this. Not only did we need the grace of a dude popping up in chat and helping us cheese the achievement, we also needed multiple random people from our crew of 50 people to be online and join our games when we invited them despite the fact that they had no clue who we were. And we actually had people join twice. That's pretty good luck. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm a little bit bummed now. Now don't get me wrong, I am glad I no longer ever have to look at that crew system, but Spectre Divide as a game is kinda fun, especially for a attack shooter on console. The gameplay actually feels really nice, but I do kind of understand why it failed. I mean, we gotta blame Shroud, right? That though will do it for us today. I'll see you all for the next achievement grind, but before I do, I gotta give a shout out to the YouTube members and all my supporters over on Patreon. If you want to support the channel, that's easily the best way to do it. And other than that, join the Discord. I've started hosting kind of bi-weekly Xbox 360 game nights, which might expand to other multiplayer games. I'm not sure. But anyways, join the Discord. The game nights are pretty fun. We played Gears 1 last time. I think the next one's going to be Left 4 Dead 2. So, see you next time.